Hey everyone, it's showtime. Oh, I cannot wait for this conversation today. I want to encourage each of you, if any questions come up as we're discussing this important topic, feel free, drop it in the chat. We will make sure that we'll respond to that in our respective outlets. We're on Facebook, we're on LinkedIn, we're on YouTube. We're on 3 places right now. But we're streaming this and we're sharing this open conversation because it's absolutely necessary. Both Anniedi and I are very committed and dedicated to the mission to getting more women on stages, more women elevating their voices, more women having a deep impact, more women getting paid. Okay? Because we know how amazing it is when we are able to do all of those things and how much that impacts our communities, how it impacts our family life, and the legacy that we want to create. So I'm going to take a moment and just introduce ourselves, and then we'll dive into the topic. Absolutely. I'll let you go first, Anniedi.
Well, hello, everyone. My name is Anniedi Essien, and I am the Chief Swagger Officer at Edemspar. And I'm just super excited to be here with Jasmin, right? Many of you may know that I'm really passionate about advancing women in leadership. And our mission at Edemspark is to elevate women's voices, empower them to make informed choices, and inspire them to lead healthy and joyful lives. And so when we think about the opportunity that's in front of us here in the pandemic, there has never been a moment in time where the playing field, right, has been leveled in terms of getting access to the stage. And we want to make sure that we're seeing more women on there owning their voices and rocking the stage and the boardroom. Right, Jasmin?
Yes, absolutely. And I'm Jasmin Haley. I'm a nationally awarded speaker and I am a speaker consultant. I have grown my own platform and voice through speaking and hosting my own events. And I am currently still a speaker as well as Anniedi. And so I'm 100% on board with exactly what she shared and the work that I'm doing. I'm specifically helping people scale their businesses through the podium, helping them construct impactful messages that reach the hearts of their audience and get to a place where they're transforming them. Because I personally feel that anyone could be a speaker, but not everyone can transform. And the whole reason why we should be sharing a message is to make lasting changes in the lives of the people that are hearing our message. So when we decided to partner together and do this, it just made perfect sense. I love all the nerdy curriculum stuff. As a former educator, I love compiling it all together. And then, of course, there is Anniedi's brilliant corporate strategy that I'm always egging on, like, when can I get on your schedule, right? To learn more from her. So I want to just kind of tie in a little bit of our own past and how our experience as a speaker has helped us to appreciate why the time is now for other speakers to leverage B2B.
Sure. I mean, I'm happy to share my journey in speaking, right? I remember being laid off from my dream job, right? And being in a position in my career, I had risen through the ranks to become a corporate executive. And a lot of the work that I had done up until that point had been really behind the scenes. You know, I was behind the scenes advising some of the largest global brands. And all of a sudden, I felt like I was having to put myself on center stage, right? Put my dreams on center stage and really think about not just, you know, the idea of being out there and leading and advancing from an innovation perspective, but what was the message that I wanted to share, right? So I started first by building my own stages, right? I started first by building my own stages, co-founded a nonprofit, which was all about getting women at the C-suite. And we were doing all of that, right? Speaking on stages and really educating and training and developing leaders. And then as I started my business, right? I launched my business at the start of the pandemic. And I was like, okay, it's all well and good to be revolutionizing wellness, but this rah-rah sis boomba right here, this is not enough to sustain a business, right? So that's where we moved from speaking for free and a passion to how do we create and drive a sustainable business. So I hired Jasmin. I remember I hired her. And she made me think about this in a whole new way, right? Not just the power of the message, right? And how do you lead from that heart-centered perspective, but how do you also make it a real business, right? Speaking unto itself, a real profitable business. And so that was really what got me excited to partner with her and to do this collab, right? Because my whole thing is, if it's not fun, why are we even doing it, right?
Exactly, exactly. That is so true. And as you were talking, I think our journey is so unique. Like we're so completely different. For me, for people that are listening, I was in the healthcare field. I was working in academia full time and wind up getting extremely burnt out, needed to leave, and then figure out how was I going to support my family. I didn't have another full time job option in the current area where I was at. My family wasn't going to move, but what I did have was my ability to speak. And so I was able to grow my own speaking career through using associations and through hosting my own events and developing corporate relationships. However, what I had never really tapped into was a corporate strategy that could really take my expertise beyond anything I could have imagined, licensing, all of those things. And it wasn't until I actually worked with Anniedi and she saw how dramatic I was, because when I met with her, I was a complete drama queen. I was like, oh no. My mind was blown because I didn't realize how much I was leaving on the table, even after years of speaking on several stages and getting paid 5 figures, 4 figures for my speaking events. I did not understand how much I was still leaving behind by not fully uh, utilizing a B2B strategy that could maximize and leverage my voice beyond anything I could imagine. And so I think, from both of us kind of working together and working and using both of our own creative genius, right, that we've been able to really stay even more committed to that mission that we desire, which is to get more people on stages, but to do so in a way that maximizes our impact.
Completely agree. And I think we've all been to conferences, right? I remember going to one of the largest innovation conferences in my industry in the healthcare space. And there was all of this kerfuffle, right, about these mantles, right? That there was not a single woman on stages, right? And folks were in uproar about that. And you talked about speaking with associations. I recently did a keynote with an association. They were so excited to really share that their attendance has gone up, right? The attendance at their virtual summits has actually gone up in the pandemic. So we got to peel back the layers, right? What was it that was keeping women from getting on more stages? Well, if you got to worry about, right, kids at home, right, you're thinking about how can I take this opportunity? How am I going to make this work? The fact that we now have this virtual environment, this virtual stage, really changes the game in the speaking industry. And I think it really extends it. So you've been rocking those keynote stages. You've been jet setting. I've been following you. I've been seeing you in the airport, getting on those stages. There was a time in my career I used to get on every, a flight every week. And now I'm thinking about how do I create a sustainable path for myself? So this virtual game, I was like, well, I've been dealing with virtual and remote workforces for my entire career, right?
Yes.
This means there are no borders. There are no boundaries. I've been training leaders, right, all over the world in the context of this pandemic. And so I think that this is a really, really exciting time for us to really take advantage of opportunities to leverage our voice and make a bigger impact in this space. Absolutely.
Yes, yes. And one of the most difficult challenges for most business owners is when you have heart, when you're heart centered, when you want to make a difference, when you are out there shaking it on stages, and then you don't have the monetary resources to continue your work. And I've lived that. Okay, y'all. It was not cute at all. It was extremely difficult. And what a feeling now in the work that I'm doing. Just had a speaking gig this week. And to get that email and that invoice that says that 4-figure payment came in, it was like, yes, this is amazing. I can then continue to support my team, support the work that I'm doing, get more women on stages, or take a vacation, right? These are all things that are important as we're building out our businesses, is to think about how can I be more savvy?
Yeah.
How can I really leverage? So I want to just take a moment of our time today to dismantle a barrier I feel that happens for some of us.
Go for it.
So I've heard my clients come in. My clients have come in. They normally come to me when they want to construct a keynote of some sort or some other course or workshop, and they want to get everything just right. But some of them feel like, well, I need to spend some more time. I need to get more. I need to write a book. I need to. I need to like. They're waiting for some like perfect setup and foundation, or they may have had a ton of exposure and nothing's really come about with that. And so they're thinking, is it really a space and time for me to be even thinking about speaking more or even a B2B strategy? So I want to kind of just tap into why the time is now for that, and why it shouldn't be something where we are waiting for an extended period of time, which you're losing opportunities to be pitching and getting on these stages or in these boardrooms to make an impact.
Absolutely. So I'm going to tackle both of those issues because, when I think about my own personal experience, I
Mm-hmm.
remember, right, hiding behind a title, a job title, a prestigious firm, right? Hiding behind that identity, right, as that corporate executive. What did I have to share, right, in terms of my own voice, leaving that environment right post layoff? And I remember going to all these networking events, right? And the first thing people ask you when you go to these networking events, you know how it is. What is it that you do? What do you do? Right. And I didn't have an answer. Right. So I had to figure out, how do I tell my story? What is it that makes me unique? What is my special sauce? And the irony of it is that when I get invited to speak, right, yes, folks are interested in my intellectual capital and my point of view and how I'm disrupting industries, but they're also interested in how I lost my sparkle, how I found my swagger, right? So it's really understanding how to own and tell that story in a much more powerful way. It begins with defining it. I often advise entrepreneurs and executives in corporate environments, right, on how to really maximize those opportunities. The reality is, when you are at a certain level of leadership, the expectation is there that you're going to be out front, that you're going to be visible, that you're going to be speaking on stages. And I have folks come to me, they're trepidatious, right? And they're nervous, but the more you prepare, and this is what the work I do with you, Jasmin, the more you prepare and you really think through, what is the message that I want to share in the world, the easier it becomes, right? The easier it becomes. And so when we think about this, why now? Women are leaving the workforce in droves. Okay. We see it all over the headlines every day. Women are leaving the workforce in droves, but they're not just at home eating bonbons. Okay. That's not what they're up to right now. They're starting businesses. They're creating innovation. They are on a mission, right, to make a bigger impact. And so when we think about that, we recognize that companies are looking for them, right? I advise entrepreneurs who are targeting corporate clients, right? They want to be able to sell in that B2B environment. And those companies are actually looking for them right now. I'm advising them, right? As a consultant, they're thinking through, what do our supplier diversity initiatives look like? How can we engage and partner with more women and folks of color, right? So when we think about the opportunity that is before us, right, there's never been a moment in history, right, where we need more voices represented in the conversation. So I think there's a business case for this. There's a personal and passion case for this. I think the sky is the limit in terms of where we can take this. And Jasmin and I are super excited to give you the tools you need to be able to rock your legacy from the boardroom to the stage.
Absolutely. And I want to encourage each of you to really understand that we have toolboxes already that have a plethora of experiences that you have gone through. And oftentimes we may forget them, right? We may forget how amazing we are because we don't really tap into that. We're busy with our day to day. Well, that's something that Anniedi and I have created this special container so that you don't forget that. You get set up with exactly what it is that you need to understand how to, one, come to a negotiate. Ooh, excuse me. I'm so excited about it. I can barely say it. Come to the negotiation table and
Yeah,
be able to strategically explain exactly what it is that you do, but most importantly, know that you'll have your messaging completely constructed from top to bottom
absolutely.
and be able to understand how to actually present in a way that can leave a lasting impact on the audience. And those are often the two missing pieces for speakers. They don't know how to impact, and then they also are missing the business foundational strategy that they need to be savvy, right? And to continue to do the work that they're doing. So we want to just take a moment and share with you all why we've created this special container. We have only a limited amount of spots open, and we want you to be able to leverage both the educational consulting expertise of myself and then the corporate strategy from Anniedi and why we've come together. So let's talk a little bit about what that experience would be, what this VIP experience will be like. And of course, when you come into this container, we wouldn't be educators if we didn't give you some homework. So there will be some homework involved. You better come correct.
Let the people know. Let the people know.
We have homework involved as soon as you sign up. And we do that so that you have the foundation necessary so that when you meet us for this VIP experience, you are able to lock down in and work on specifically what you need to work on. So there's no more, oh, well, man, this experience was great, but I still feel like I'm missing some pieces. No, we're giving you the foundation. So there's no pieces missing by the time that you leave from our experience. And then you're able to leverage it and maximize your expertise and your investment. So I think one of the biggest points that we want to strive to each of you is we were very, very strategic and mindful in the amount of time that you're going to get with us. So it'll be 4 hours of our time together so that we can construct what that signature program is. There will be no doubt in your mind on how you're going to present that program. And then most importantly, the strategy that you need for the negotiation phase. Any other parts that you want to add for that, Anniedi?
Well, I think it's important to note you're already getting these requests right now, right? Let's just be candid. You're already getting these requests. You're speaking for free, right? You're out there on those stages. You're already doing the work. You're surprised when they say there's an honorarium, right? What we're trying to do is make sure that you're going into these opportunities eyes wide open, right? And being really intentional. I can't tell you how many folks come to me, they want to speak to grow their business, and they haven't thought through how one reinforces the other. Right? They're thinking, I need to get on stage and bring revenue into my business, but they're not thinking about how that drives growth, right? Is it aligned? Is your target audience even in the room, right? So the more we can get really savvy about the way we define our go-to-market strategies, the easier it will become. And my job as a strategist is to study the markets, right? So I'm always looking to see what's going on. And the barriers to entry are low right now, right? So we got to think about if we're going to be targeting a way to grow our business, how do we get really smart, savvy, and intentional with the way that we really enter those boardrooms and enter those stages? Because that message that you have to share, right? That innovation that you've created, that intellectual capital that you have built can move mountains and make a bigger impact if you get really intentional with how you use your time. So that's really why we know you're busy. We know you don't have a lot of time on your hands. So we're making this half-day experience for you to really be pampered in a way, right? To have a luxurious experience and not have to worry about anything. I did this with Jasmin recently, okay? I did it with her. I'm running 1,000,000 miles an hour, and I could have left that meeting, right, and given that talk the next day. That is how impactful the time with her is. And a lot of the times when I'm advising folks who are looking to go into corporate spaces, the first question they say is, I don't know what I would sell, right? I don't know what I have to sell. You're going to leave this experience having something to sell. You're going to have a signature talk. You're going to have your workshop, whatever it is that you're creating and delivering in the world. Jasmine's going to help you pull that together, right? She's going to make sure you dot your I's and cross your T's. And then you're going to come into me and we're going to figure out how to create a monetization path, right? For you to be able to grow a sustainable business, a profitable, scalable, and sustainable business. I realized recently I've been looking at this issue of gender pay equity, right? Just recently did a talk on gender equity and intersectionality in the workforce. Do you know that the gender pay gap is actually greater when women set their own rates than it is in traditional 9-to-5 roles, right? We want to make sure that you are entering these negotiations with all of the information that you need to make informed decisions about how to grow your business. And that is what this experience is going to afford you. So you're already going to be on those stages. You're doing it right now. Now we're saying, how do we do this in a much more smart and savvy way so that you can, right, take that day off, have that vacation, right? I remember my sister was invited to speak internationally, right? She was really nervous. She was giving a talk in Ireland, and she said, I don't know, the kids, it was summertime. I said, why can't it be a yes and? So she, kids, we made a family trip out of it. We're in Dublin having the time of our lives. And so we really want to make sure when you think about this, think about the full experience that you're going to have, right? Whether you want to be jet setting like Jasmin or you want to dominate the virtual stages like I am. There are so many opportunities for you to get your foot in the door and really, right, play in a big, big way when it comes to leveraging your speaking potential. So
Absolutely.
that's how we're excited about this.
Yes, absolutely. And I think, when you were talking, I thought of the expression, it takes a village. Like, it really collectively takes a village for you to be able to gain the expertise that you desire, and then continue to work towards the purpose that you have, and to do so in a way that's really meaningful. We see so many speakers or people that have been in business that have been burnt out. And I was nearly there. I remember when I wasn't strategically moving the way I should. I had a whole bunch of heart and passion, but I didn't have the skills necessary to understand how to strategically maneuver in the speaking industry. And I think what's really important is, especially for our marginalized speakers, our speakers of color, this is really important for you to understand, because there's so many of us that are not even aware about the potential that is out there. Absolutely. There are people closing 5 to 6 figure contracts in the B2B space. And when you think about that amount, yes, you are serving from the heart, but when you think about that amount of money that can come in to your business, into your life, what kind of impact could that have for you? Like, really consider that. Despite, some of the barriers that we put, or limiting beliefs that we put, as Anniedi shared, there's actually lower barriers right now to maximize these opportunities. So we want to encourage you to take a look at the description that's at the either above or below this video, and join our wait list. We have spots open. We have 2 spots available in April, and we want to be able to help support you. Feel free to DM us. You could email us. I mean, we're here to chat and find out whether or not this program that we have collaborated together would be a good fit for you. Anything else you want to share before we head off today?
We're just super excited to see you shake what you got on these stages. Okay? We can't be the only ones having fun, okay, Jasmin? Because you're really being modest. Jasmin is an award-winning, okay, international speaker. She's being very modest today, okay? But we can't wait to welcome you into this experience so you can do the most like we've been doing, okay?
Absolutely. I literally was just telling Anniedi, I need to get on more stages. All right. I'm about to slay the B2B space. Exactly. Me. No more, hiding in the background, right? I've got something to say when it comes to presenting in a heart-centered way. So I love what we've created, and cannot wait to welcome you all into our space. And we want to thank you so much for your time today. Feel free, message us, DM. We're here to chat, and we can't wait to see you all in April.
Absolutely. Join us for our Speaker Swag VIP Day. We can't wait to work with you.
All right, y'all. Take care.
Bye-bye.